88.9 WERS.
Welcome back to Boston Sessions on WERS. I'm Jim Sullivan. I'm here today with the Kooks, or at least two of the Kooks here for the interview portion of the show. Luke Pritchard, the singer, over here to my left, your right. Pete Denton over here. And we are now going to talk about all things Kooks, including the fact that they're on tour right now. But a month or so before the new album actually comes out, which is maybe a little bit of a risk. Not everybody knows the songs. What brings you to America right now at this point?
Yeah, it does kind of feel a little strange the album's not out yet, because we've had this quite long build up to it. But you know, we're just, it's feeling very good in Europe. The shows that we've done, and the new songs are going down actually surprisingly well. I mean, it's quite a lot to ask your audience.
It is. How many of the new songs do you mix into the set usually?
Quite a few, like probably 6, 7.
Mm-hmm. And how long a set are you doing?
Probably an hour and 15 minutes. Hour and 20 minutes. Yeah.
So that's a pretty good chunk of old Kooks and new Kooks, if you will.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the word that's getting tossed around about the album, which is called "Listen," right, is Reinvention. You've used it a few times, and I listened to an advanced copy the other day, and I thought the same. I guess tell me a bit about that. What went into that, if that indeed is true?
Yeah, it's. I think it's a very different approach to making this album for us, and we, in kind of every way, like in the conceptual way, in what we wanted out of it, in musically, it's, you know, so for us it was really about, like, the way that I put it is like deconstructing the band and then building it up again, like starting again, which I guess is reinvention. And we were, I think, when we finished Junk of the Heart, that tour, we all felt a little bit, we knew we wanted to do something different. We didn't really know what, but we felt like we'd sort of done that thing. And those first 3 albums, I think, are quite, they're like part of one chapter really for us. And so it really all sparked from this one song, Around Town, which is the first song on the album. And I got really into production, and I'd been using a computer a lot, and that really led me to this song where I'd put the guitar down, and so I was using I was programming a beat and had a gospel choir sample, and so that really then, that experimentation with that song, that sparked this whole sort of soul sort of music change that we did, you know.
It's a wonderful song. It's a very uplifting song.
Thank you.
But I have seen the video. Which runs a little bit contrary to what the song is about, and kind of in a shocking way. Can you tell me about what the video, what went into making the video and why you did that?
Well, I think that, we wanted to make, something that was, a short film almost, isn't it? I think, obviously you had the idea of that, but it's pretty shocking, isn't it? I mean,
yes, it is. Yes.
But it's fantastic. I just kind of want to see another hour of it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just, I think we needed to do something different in that sense as well.
Can you explain a little bit about what goes on in the video? I mean, there's an assassin.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead. Who wants to?
Oh, mate, go ahead, man. I'm still working it out.
Me too, man. Well, yeah, it's basically directly inspired by Tarantino, Luc Besson, those kind of films. So you can imagine it's very brutal, graphic, and it's about a hit woman and a hit man, and there's a story which I won't say. It would be great if people watch it. I think
people will find it on Vivo on YouTube. Yeah.
But yeah, I think because we knew it was quite a cinematic song, and we kind of couldn't be bothered to wait for a film to use it, so we thought we'll do a film ourselves, and that's kind of the thinking process. And the director, Ryan, is he's someone that I'd met. He's a friend first, and we had just been talking over a few drinks about doing something together, and had this idea of, rather than doing a music video, you do a film that the music is then put to, so it's kind of shifting the whole idea of a music video, and it was fun for us. Does
the song have anything to do with the plot of the video?
It does. I mean, what I did actually was I gave Ryan Hope, who directed, I gave him this poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling, which is which is kind of what inspired the song, like that poem. So I just gave him that and said, run with it, and he did his interpretation.
Mate. Bloodshed, violence, a shower scene.
But there is the song's about karma, and there's a I think there's a loose story about karma, because there's a twist at the end.
There's a twist, yes. We can't spoil the 6-minute video, but anyway, no, it's
great actors as well.
Fantastic,
amazing.
Yes,
Chris,
very lucky to get this
amazing.
kind of roles.
It's terrific. It's back to the making of this. I mean, you guys traditionally do take time between albums, and I mean, I know you've had some personnel shifts and things too. But what was 3 years, I guess, between Junk and this one? Roughly?
Yeah, it was probably about 3 years. Yeah.
My understanding is you spent some time away from London, living in LA, and kind of traveling America, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We took a bit of time out, and I wanted to write songs. I was in a state where I felt like I had a bit of writer's block, and I really wanted to just explore that and try and get rid of that. So I came to the US mainly because I think all the root of all the music I love is really from here. So I thought, went to New Orleans, saw that, and went to Nashville and a few other places, and then ended up in LA, where I did write some stuff for the album.
Where were the other guys? Back home in England, or doing?
Yeah, I mean, like with the family, and
I was just getting some family time, man. Which, to be fair, is pretty rare. Do you know what I mean? Because we went on tour. I've got a little boy, and we kind of on the Junk tour was like, it was like 9 days after he was born, and I was like out of there, which, to be fair, you got to do, but obviously it'd been good to have maybe a couple more weeks. So it was good, I just literally I just spent time with the family, just enjoying that.
Were you and the others at all worried that maybe Luke wouldn't come up with anything new, or was
I think there was worries about a lot of things, to be honest. You know what I mean? Whether or not he was going to come back.
Seriously?
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, to be honest, I mean, we're great friends too. So it wasn't like we were, there was no contact. But I mean, I don't know. I think we all felt that there needed to be a change. So that was, it was a positive thing. Luke, anyway, whether or not he came back with anything or not, that that needed to happen. And he did. So
Let me ask you this: it's you guys have gotten obviously a lot of critical praise, and the other you've gotten slagged here and there too. Would anything new, anything that you're doing now, be a reaction to any outside feedback, or would it all be internal?
I don't think it's that easy to disassociate the two things, because I think even if even if you were to just try to not let stuff around you affect you, you probably wouldn't be able to. But it wasn't like a press thing. It wasn't like, people had said bad things about it. I mean, actually, if anything, with Junk of the Heart, it was quite flat. It was like, the reaction, I thought, it was a little flat to that record.
Flat meaning?
Like, it wasn't like really good or really bad. It was a bit like that. And so the change musically is definitely much more of a personal thing, and wanting to be inspired, and there are some life things that happened where it's like, I think we just talked a lot. It's like, why are we doing this? We started when we were 18. We were really young, and we're in this kind of, we're in a pop band, and we're doing this thing, we're touring the world, and you get to a point on this record where you just think, well, what are we trying to get out of this? What are we trying to do? And there's a lot of those questions being asked, and it takes a long time and processes to really figure those questions out, and really it's about, it actually, to lead into your question, I think it is about blocking off the outside world, and I think we got into a really cool little bubble on this album, and we weren't listening to modern music, and we were doing our own thing, and we were trying to just really do something that had chemistry together and not let any of the outside influence. And I think especially working with Inflo, who produced the album, he was very important to that process of just not allowing any of the bull to get involved, you know, and like, you know, the business side and the media side really can start to affect what you do.
Well, it's funny. You've been a band, what, almost 10 years, I guess, right?
It's 10 years, yeah.
10 years. So, I mean, who's to say how long the career lasts? But I was thinking in preparing for this, I thought, my God, maybe it was a midlife crisis as far as a band is concerned.
Mid-band crisis.
Mid-band crisis, exactly. Which, I mean, you know, can be a good thing because it shakes things up. And well, right, yeah, well, there would be that too. Well, you know, one thing, Luke, you did say, I saw in an interview, you were talking about how there was a danger, at least at some point, I think when you were living in London, of living too much of the rock star life, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know about rock star life, but yeah.
Barfly life.
Like, I just being an idiot, really, being a twat. I mean, we've all done it, and we do all hang out in London. We've all been there where we have let the extracurricular stuff get in the way, and I big time tried to cut that out, and I think music should be, you know, when you really are trying to do something with music, it has to be number one beyond anything.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be anything else that gets that's higher priority to you than the music, and so that was quite hard to do to begin with, because yeah, London's a city. It's the best city in the world. No offense, but it is, and
no,
and like, you know, it's there's a lot to do, and there's a lot of people around, and we certainly were in a situation where we could. What I think I said in that interview, possibly, because I sort of vaguely remember, I think we could have easily become like guys who used to be in a band. You know, like those kind of guys that just end up. Sure. You go to a few fashion things, and you're a guy that used to had a hit once. You know, like, it was just like bit of DJing, that kind of thing, and just
the Boy George syndrome.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm not doing that. There's no way doing that, you know. And that's about inside again. That's like of knowing. I think we all knew we could do, and a lot of people didn't believe it, but we knew we could do an album like this one, you know. And
there's a song on the new record called "This Is London."
Yeah.
Is it a requirement that every English pop band write a song about London?
Well, kind of is.
It is. Okay.
I think it kind of is. Yeah, there's actually some rules, man. There's a rule book that you get sent when you sign a record deal.
He's like,
not
done it yet. No.
Mick and you know, Mick and Ray have like laid out the rules.
Well, but, they did. Well, you know the story of Ray Davies writing Waterloo Sunset.
Yeah.
Was the record company wanted him to change the setting to Liverpool because of the Beatles.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he just said,
amazing.
"No, I'm from London. No way." And it became the song it became. Obviously,
that is an amazing story.
Now, speaking of the Kinks, you guys recorded 2 albums at their Konk studio.
At Konk, yeah, Ray's place.
What was your experience there? Did you work with him? Did you work with him at all? Or
we had the opportunity, and we played a song with him live, which was cool.
Which one?
We did Victoria.
Oh, lovely.
Which was really cool. Obviously, I mean, he's always been a hero, and the rehearsal actually was the most fun bit. Just rehearsing with Ray, and it's great. But in the studio, no, we didn't work with him. He was around, milling around, but we didn't. I mean, he's a busy dude, and
yeah, exactly. But this one was recorded where? The new one?
It was actually between LA and London.
And the reason for that?
And well, the thing is, we didn't really decide to make this album. It kind of fell together, and the way that the process happened was, I wrote most of the stuff with Inflo, the producer, in LA, and we blueprinted a lot of the songs, and then we did the band stuff in London. So we recorded at the Village Recorder, which is a fantastic studio in Santa Monica. It's an amazing place. But we just had like this little room, just right at the top. It's really cool.
So was all the band together when you recorded it then?
Yeah.
So sometimes that doesn't happen these days.
Yeah, but it was a different approach, like I say, because before we would go into pre-production and rehearse the songs, tweak the arrangements, and then go in the studio for 6 weeks and make an album. That's how we've done it for 3 times. and on this one it was like back and forth. So the writing was being done in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the writing arrangements would change at different points, and it was all quite collagey. The way we did it was kind of like Exile on Main Street or something, like where it was like there was some recordings in some place and another place, and then we kind of put them together, and there's a lot of stitching going on, and it was, I think, what gives the album a real looseness, and it was again fun for us because it was a new way of working.
There's a lot of words in the English language you could have picked for the album, and you picked the word listen.
Yeah.
And I mean,
What was I thinking?
I was thinking. Well,
I was like, yeah.
when I saw it, I thought, well, yeah, obviously, but was there any meaning or double meaning or hidden meaning?
Jim, there are many meanings, many hidden meanings.
It was either that or Greatest Hits, wasn't it? So.
Greatest hits to be. Yeah. No, so nothing particular.
There are several thought processes. I have a T-shirt with "Listen" on. I really liked the word, and I just saw it, and it came to me in a flash of like that. I think I like the way it looks. I think it's a very classic album title. I can't believe no one's done it. It sounded to me almost like a jazz record, and I kind of liked that. It had that traditional feel about it, but also I think there was, for me, an element of like, I think with the way that we made it was it was improvised record in a sense. So to me, like, we kind of made it like jazz, but it's not a jazz record. Like, as in we didn't play the same things twice. We improvised. It's a lot of that kind of stuff, and that's all about listening to people around you, listening to things rather than trying too hard to go towards something. So that was actually why I thought it made sense. And with the album cover as well, it makes sense. Yeah.
It's a tight album, but there is, you're right, I think what you're talking about, there's a lot of looseness to it too. I mean, it has
certain songs, there's, I mean, like West Side is very tight, very Quincy, very, but then you'll have, I mean, like Sunrise is crazy, and London is like, there's so many guitars in there, man. I mean, I can't even remember who played what, it's like...
It's true though, the whole record's like that, isn't it? Just, we don't know who played what.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Pete played a lot of guitar on this one, and like that was really cool. And then I played a bit of bass, and so did Hugh. And like
But you know what? That's the best way.
Yeah.
Because it just kept everything so fresh and fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As opposed to just coming in like, oh, same old shit, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's very.
And you had a gospel chorus too, right?
Gospel choir, yeah. Well, we're actually trying to. We take them out as much as we can now.
Oh, on the road.
Well, we haven't got them on like the full tours, but like the little festivals, we kind of.
How many people?
It's like 15?
It depends.
15 to 20, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they're awesome, man.
They sound great on the record. What, when you play those songs in concert, like tonight you're playing at the Paradise and you've got this tour coming out, what do you use samples for that, or do you just not use them at all?
We use samples, yeah, but there's only really of the new songs we're playing. There's only one of them, which is Around Town, that we're doing, which has gospel on it.
That's the one that starts with a big.
Exactly, yeah. Which actually is it's from a sample originally, but it is, yeah. It is unfortunate. Like we'd love to get to that point, Talking Heads, Arcade Fire, set up, and I think we'll do it in our own way, and it's just trying to figure it out. We don't use backing track. We're quite sort of passionate about that, but we do use sample, like, so it's sample to a keyboard, yeah. Sure.
Just a songwriting question, basically. I mean, I know you're the primary songwriter, but are you the sole songwriter, or are there other contributions coming in?
On this one, I wrote most of the album with Inflo, the producer, who the lines kind of blurred with me and him, and I co-produced the album as well, in a sense. I mean, I always feel like say Inflo produced it, but he said to me afterwards, like, I think we should put you co-produce, because we very much, the lines blurred with what we were doing, and there were a few songs that there was input, but because of the process, that was how we did it. On previous records, it's been other band members, writing as well.
No,
this was
no
the-
strife with you taking it all this time. I guess this is for you, Pete.
He's
Fine.
annoying.
Write some good songs. I'll play them.
Do you know what? That was the thing, man. I was just happy to hear good songs being written. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, going away for that long. Being away for that long. It's just.
It doesn't have to have my name on it. As a
Yeah,
credit,
I was just
right?
like, mate, I'm happy to play this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was, I mean, if I can just say, because I think I really had like a real vision for the album, and I think that's where it's great when you have bands where everyone respects that, and I think that's what we had, where it was like, it was pretty weird to begin with, but it was also the support was there to go like, I was saying, look, I really feel like this is where I want to go, and everyone supporting that, and then coming into it a bit later. So, and because of the way the band was and we did need some time apart, it just all kind of made sense. I don't think that's always going to be the case, but it was. Yeah.
Do you think there's a theme to the album at all?
There is to me, which is a kind of some kind of defiance, or like I wanted it to be about a kind of phoenix, the phoenix from the ashes,
Okay, yeah.
Not necessarily in all the lyrics, but just the feeling of the music. I want it to be very quite very grand and euphoric, joyous.
Good point. Yeah.
So in that sense, I think it does have a theme. But the lyrics, every song has a different story. So I don't think it's a concept album in that sense. But musically, I think it does have a theme. It has a real feeling about it.
I was going to say, back maybe in your more pop music taste, if you will, whatever the words said, and of course people tend to get those on third and fourth listens, you just sort of right away get one thing. Whatever the words said, there seemed to be a real feeling of uplift and optimism kind of running through the band. And I guess, is that true? Is that one of the things you guys want to do?
Absolutely. I think it was natural. Do you know what I mean? It was going to happen. I think everyone was enjoying playing again. The songs were great. Inflow especially. It was just amazing to be around. He really pulled out the best of you. And it was just quick as well. I think when you were sat in the studio and you're there for, like you say, for 6 weeks, and you're there for 20 hours a day or whatever. It's just it just tears you apart. It's just there's no soul. And I think we were going in. It was quick. First takes, good tunes, and there was a real energy in the studio, a real vibe.
Well, I think I was asking too about the previous stuff as well. Just that sense of whatever the lyrics are. There's this optimistic thing. It carries through. I think you're right, but on the 3 other albums,
I don't really know where that is actually. It's an interesting point. I think we've always wanted to make music that makes you feel good, and I don't really know where that has come from, to be honest. I think.
Do you see yourself as Offstage as the same kind of person who's on stage or writing?
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm totally miserable most of the time.
Open up. I'm your
People tell
psychiatrist, please. Just whatever you have to share.
Oh, you don't want to
please.
open that.
No, you don't
honestly.
open that
wanna
wound.
go down
Okay.
there. No, I feel like, in a sense, that's the beauty of making records. You get to be someone you're not, and I think I'm not really that miserable. I don't know. I don't think we are. We're when we all go out, we're pretty upbeat guys, but I think we also do use our music to be it often can act as what you want yourself to be, rather than what you are. I think that's sometimes what happens. You're projecting that onto your music sometimes.
Let's say you have a bad day. You're on tour. Some things have gone wrong. Maybe the M&Ms are the wrong color on the rider, or the guitar tech has screwed something up, and there you are. You're kind of in a sour mood going on. Can you turn it on like a switch and get into the right mode
To do the
perform?
gig?
Yeah, to perform and sing. You can.
Yeah.
Right. Was that hard to get to, or is that sort of natural? Is that an easy transition, I guess?
I think it's easy to do when you see an audience in front of you that is singing your songs back to you. It's quick, quick to change.
It can be hard.
But
it can be tricky. I actually being in Boston's funny, because I remember the last time we played here, I was
What happened?
not in a great state of mind, was I?
No, for sure. Well, that was very different.
Yeah. No, but that's it. I was having some personal problems, and I had to go on stage. You know what I mean? And like for that whole tour, that US tour, it was like that every night. You know, feeling like you just want to go home, but you have to do it. It's what you do, and the music is always, of course, you get on stage and it makes you feel good. But I think it's one of the hard things about what we do, because we have to always be traveling, and when stuff's going on, like Pete said about, you know, when Dylan was born, you know, it's like, you know, you don't want to do that, but that's part of what you do. You're obliged to get out there, and yeah, it can be hard.
And there's a window. Let's face it. I mean, bands don't last forever, and
yeah, like footballers.
Yeah, like football. That's true. I mean, they when do they peak? Around 30
well,
or so,
because for
right?
footballers,
Yeah.
you can get into the presenting thing. You either jump ship to the presenting thing, like Rio Ferdinandez did. Fair play to him.
Yeah, we have to start looking
Or
into
you're-
that.
So we need to. Yeah.
But there is, you know, it's interesting. I mean, there is a theory about writers, musicians, that they do kind of, you know, hit a peak fairly early, late 20s. I mean, maybe where you are now.
I don't believe in that though,
Okay.
because I think that, well, there's so many examples where it doesn't happen, but you've got that's part of what we just did. I think you have to keep the people that don't do it are the ones that stay stagnant. When you look at your Damon Albarns, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Your David Burns, you know, these people who go on and do different things, constantly reinventing themselves,
Mm-hmm.
keeping themselves challenged. You know, that's not even just selling records, but that's where, you know, you make good work, I think, and it's definitely possible. But it's hard. I mean, there's like, you know, you're lucky enough to be some of the people that get to tour, and then to be the ones that carry on doing it, and also be doing something that's artistically great. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the odds are pretty, you know,
There's a lot of
got to be
steps.
pretty damn good. Yeah.
You guys are playing Lollapalooza this year too, right?
We are.
What are your expectations?
We're definitely playing that. I don't really know much about it, to be perfectly honest. I don't know that it's meant to be cool when it travels, but I've never been to
It stopped traveling somewhere in the 90s and rooted itself in
Okay.
Chicago. So, I mean, I've seen a bunch of them, but in our area here in Boston. So, I can't really tell you what it's like.
Because
either.
I know they're all over the world. We're doing one in South America, possibly.
Called Lollapalooza?
It's called Lollapalooza.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That
is
is-
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that, actually. I just thought
Edit,
might not even be
cut.
announced.
So
Is this live?
So we're probably not doing it now.
Right. No, nothing to do with South America. It's-
But yeah, but we're, you know, it'd be great. I mean, we actually, on this album, we actually spoke to our agent and said we want to do more US festivals, because we haven't done enough. They're always great, and we've done Bonnaroo, and we've done Coachella once years ago, and that was insanely cool. And we're just like, yeah, see what we can do. And I know we're doing Outside Lands as well, which is meant to be incredible, and yeah, so hopefully
That's good.
it'll be good
Now,
for us.
this tour primarily, I think, is a smallish club tour. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And from what I understand, you'll be coming back again to the States, I guess, when the record comes out, right?
Oh yeah,
And,
I mean, if you guys will have us, yeah. I mean,
Oh.
yeah, we love it out here, man. I mean, we'll definitely be back.
So, and I mean, bigger venues then would be the game plan, I would think.
Well, yeah, I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
So depending on how
Stadium.
smaller.
No, we want to play a smaller club.
but the records,
Tinier
the records did really well.
No. Shoebox, please. Yeah, of course, that's the idea, you know, to come back and see it grow. I think, you know, obviously, we've not been around for a while. New music, you know, you kind of test the water a little bit as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to be doing 5,000 capacity venues and a half full. It's not a good look, man.
We'd have to keep doing these double shows, like.
Oh yeah, they're really fun. 2 after shows. No.
They are quite fun, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We did 2 nights of the Troubadour in LA.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But sorry, two shows the same night.
Different sets, or is it?
We played one different song.
I think
We were pretty hammered, man, by the second show. Like, I mean,
We
barely,
forgot, didn't we?
We could barely stand up.
Yeah.
So
Like
to
Ian,
even do the set,
Ian McCulloch hammered?
like Ian McCulloch.
Oh,
hammered.
no.
I don't
Maybe
know,
not
I don't know
quite.
if it was that bad.
Yeah, maybe not quite that.
It wasn't ideal. Let's put it that way.
It's like Pete said, 2 after shows, man.
Well, halfway through the first, we remembered we had another show. God. No. But yeah, so we're doing that again. Great.
It's pretty punk rock, man. But I mean, we will hopefully be moving up.
No, that's good.
Moving on up.
Well, I guess, you know, and I suppose it's, you know, does a lot of that has to do with the reception the album gets, I guess.
Mhm.
Are you
Yeah.
pretty confident in that your people are going to dig it? Because I think I've read something, you know, you've said your fans kind of go both ways on this
Yeah.
one, right?
I don't know. It's actually gotten better. I think that when we released Down, the first single, we saw a lot of polarization.
That is insanely catchy.
Yeah,
Jeez. Irrepressible.
I would imagine it annoying a lot of people. It's kind of like a jingle. I should write jingles, man.
That's it, man.
When you retire, in your 50s.
We did get asked, actually. Tesco's wanted to use it.
Oh,
it was
gosh.
like a supermarket.
Yeah.
It's like,
which is not very
our
good.
prices are going down, 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 down. We politely declined that.
Well, when you have retired, that will be your retirement. You can sell it.
That's where you cash in, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
If
you're gonna sell out, you got to sell out big though.
That's
You
right.
wanna-
That's right.
I mean,
What does
Walmart,
What
you
does the
know?
song mean? What does the song really mean anyway? It means about lower prices, right?
Oh, this is why it's what we were thinking back in the day. But
But anyway, yes.
But
you
yeah,
were talking about your.
I think we've got definitely big hopes for the record. I think artistically, I think it's got a lot of merit. I think we believe in it in that sense. But with selling records and stuff, there's so many factors that go into it. We all believe in it, but I think we're just also happy to still be making records, and I mean that. And I think we all got to that point where we really just feel very thankful to keep being able to go in the studio, and we're already thinking about our next album. And so America's classic for it. You know, you can make 5 albums, and your 5th album you can be where it happens for you, really big. Maybe we don't even want to go. You know, it's like that has its whole own other issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we got great. I mean, our fans here are amazing, and they, every time we do a tour, they're amazing, and so we're just really happy, man. And yeah, like I hope that people who like the previous albums dig it, and I think, like I was gonna say, Down polarized people, but then we're seeing, like, with the Round Town, Forgive and Forget, Bad Habit, people are going, oh yeah, cool, and kind of understanding it. And so yeah.
I mean, Down had to be the first single.
Yeah.
It was a good call, that one, because it's the most different tune on the record.
Right.
So to get, we're kind of like a new band again, It's like, and you have to get people to notice, I think, for good or bad. Do you know what I mean?
It's like people listen, my God,
yeah.
what is that?
It's an awful song. That's good, it's great. Yeah.
But when we were talking about putting it out, I was like, we can't put out our first single that's got a drum loop in it. But it was a great, but it did send
it really did, and yes, it was mixed, but I think it was, there was more positive kind of reaction than negatives, and I love the tune.
So,
well, we should probably wrap up shortly, but I was going to ask you the first question of the interview might have been, but we'll ask it near the end, was where the name of the band came from. I'm assuming it came from the Bowie song.
it did.
It did, okay.
Yes,
And why? Why did that song strike you as We Want to Be Kooks?
It's so funny, because when you was like 17, you don't really think, like, okay, in like 11 years I'm gonna be in this band that we choose this name for, But that it actually was a girl that I was seeing at the time, who we used to listen to Hunky Dory a lot. It's Isis, Isis, yeah, and Isis, yeah, and she just was like, it'd be a great band name. You should name your band the Kooks. And I was like,
That's
yeah, I'll tell the guys. And then I told the guys, and
What
everyone
did
was like, I think Paul thought of
cool
8
story.
Goes West was his idea. For
Eight Goes West.
Yeah, that was Paul's idea.
I quite like that.
But you know how it goes.
Shouldn't have said
It's
it.
like any band name sounds ridiculous until they become successful, and
Yeah,
then they
for
become.
sure.
Then it's just like, oh yeah, of
Just have
course.
to
I mean,
look around.
There's
we
the
have
famous story.
we have here in Boston the Cars.
Because
It's like, come on, what a dull name.
great band.
Yeah, there you go. See? Right. What were you going to say? You had a story.
Oh yeah, because there's the famous story of the Arctic Monkeys, the A&R guy who didn't go to see them because he thought the name was so ridiculous and told the label they were terrible, so then they didn't offer on them. And
You mean
dominated.
without seeing
without seeing them? Yeah, like
Excellent.
it's
That's,
like a
yeah.
classic story.
Right.
He's, I was pretty sure he's probably out of a job.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Do you know what I mean? But it's true though, isn't it? It's like, the name Arctic Monkeys is like, but when you're probably
The Beatles.
16.
Well, I was
17,
just.
it's like,
It was like, come on, how stupid
I mean,
is the Beatles?
The Rolling Stones is a great name.
Yeah.
We know that, but
Yeah.
the Beatles is, I mean,
It's a bad
it's
pun.
alright. It's just
a bad-
silly.
I mean,
Beat.
Beat all like.
it's like Oasis, isn't it? It's like, gosh, I mean, it's a great band, but it's awful. Man.
Oasis is actually probably the worst of all time.
It really
isn't it?
is.
It really is. It makes me think of like those really cheesy like pictures
Like Centre Parks,
in like
isn't
Centre Parks. Yeah. You wouldn't know what that is, but
No, I
don't
don't.
know.
Sorry,
but
I'm
Centre
giggling
Parks-
just because you are. Go ahead.
Centre Parks is like it's like family holiday
Yeah, you go
oriented.
cycling.
Oh.
It's quite cool. I went when I was a kid. I think you went as well, didn't you? Did you ever go to
No,
Centre
I
Parks?
don't think I ever did. No.
It's very tacky,
No.
but brilliant.
It's like when I heard Tommy the Who for the first time, the holiday camp thing.
Yeah,
What
it's
the hell is
that's
that?
like
Yeah,
what
exactly.
Centre Parks
Oh,
is.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly. But
There
like
you go.
that was he was set in a different era, but it's so the same thing.
Well, the band name thing, and just back to the Kinks for a moment. I remember talking to Ray once about this, and he said, he may have been disingenuous, I don't know, but he said, yeah, we want the Kinks, like a kink in your arm. We wanted something that had a disagreeable tone to it, something people didn't really want.
Yeah.
The Kinks, which is perfect philosophy, knowing him that's what they would do. Of course, there's the kinky aspect to
And the
it. too,
kinky music, yeah.
but and with you, kooky, right? I've seen headlines, all kinds of Kooks headlines out there, right?
Yeah. There's all kinds. It's tragic.
You made your bed, now you lie in it.
I know.
All right, guys, I think we are very good here. I hope people have enjoyed listening and watching to this. You're listening to and watching Boston Sessions on WERS. My name is Jim Sullivan, Pete Denton, Luke Pritchard here with me in the studio. And welcome to Boston, folks, and hope you have a great
Thanks,
tour.
man. Thanks for having us.
Thank
Cheers.
you, man. Thanks.
Cheers, Jim.
88.9 WERS.